annual I'm gonna die disease. Spent the first 10 days babysitting my maybe dying dog. Every year she gets something. But last summer also, on the 4th of July, we got the phone call that Joel's, my boyfriend's sister, who's been battling cancer all year, that she checked herself into the emergency room. Pain was too much. So we ended up walking from the fireworks where we were trapped. We couldn't get out until it was way over. And then walking all the way up to Lenox Hill.
Oh my God.
And we ended up spending the summer, we'd signed up Joel's niece, the sister's daughter, for teen sailing camp. And I signed up Linda's daughter, Amanda, both the same age, for teen sailing camp. It was an all-day long program.
That's fantastic.
It was like all day, keep them busy, something to do. They'd learn something, learn a skill, and it was very affordable.
Wow. Where was it?
It's usually out of downtown, like by the World Trade Center, but they've moved it over to New Jersey. They take the kids on a shuttle boat across in the morning.
Amazing.
It's fantastic. Well, actually, the one uptown's a lot safer. This one lacks a lot of the safety measures that I would have liked to have seen.
Okay.
But here's the thing: since they were both doing it together, neither one of them knew how to get there. The mother, who ended up hospitalized, was going to take her kid on the first day, and I actually told her, no, you can take her on the subway to the ferry boat, but you can't go on the ferry with her. Like, that's not cool. She's 15.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna make her like, no, you can't do it. You gotta say. So it worked out that she was hospitalized, and the father worked nights. So Joel and I ended up parents of 2 kids this summer that weren't even ours. We called it Camp Andi, which made their summer camp, their day camp, into a sleepaway camp because neither one of them was staying in their house.
Wow.
Linda's kid stayed with me, and so did Joel's niece. And they stayed in Annie Ella's room. And they went to camp every day, and they came home. But like at nighttime, after we got the hospital visits and over with, all that kind of stuff, after we bandaged them, we would, we'd play games and have fun. And I invented a game which they were too stupid to even catch on to. And it was the best game in the world because if you ask a kid a question like, what are kids doing in school? Are kids doing drugs? Even if they know, they're not going to tell you. Like, it's the truth. So instead, we used to play a game, like a categories kind of game. So I created an Andi style, very irreverent, because they know that with me you're allowed to curse. With me, I'm not so big on the rules. As long as you're not fresh, as long as you don't cross the line, as long as you clean up, after yourself. But I created this game, and it was great. I put a bell in the middle. It was kind of like what that game survey says. What they say. I would ask a question, and they'd all put their hand out to hit one of those ting ting bells, like order up bells. And it was so great. I would say these were really good questions because I learned so much, and they thought it was just fun. They thought it was just Andi being Andi. They had no clue that I was trying to get the dirt on what teenage life was about. So I was like, okay, best place within the school to buy drugs. Ting! And the first question, first person got to answer, and then the rest of them got to answer theirs. Stairwell of high school. Second one, parking lot. Third one, girls' bathroom. And I was like, okay, so even though they think that they say there's no drugs, apparently there is. Next one, number one thing at a birthday party or a bar mitzvah or whatever, a party that you go to that you don't want your parents to find out about afterwards. Ding ding. Rainbow. Rainbow is a game that I read about in Jody the Cult book years ago. Take this blowjob. Girls give blowjobs. They all wear different color lipstick and give blowjobs to the boys. And whatever boy ends up with the most color lipsticks on their penises. It's disgusting. It is completely... It's so undignified. It is like... Hark. But guess what? It's not just in the book. It's for real.
Come on.
I'm telling you, I am a sleuth. I learned all this shit without them even knowing that I was learning it.
This is so disturbing.
I know it, but this is my point.
This is
my
why I
point
want to go back to the small town. My God.
No.
It happens here too.
No, small town is worse. Small town, all of this stuff happens. But guess what happens else in a small town? All of this happens in a small town. And I learned about this from both books which took place in a small town. But in a small town, the 10th circle.
Okay.
But in a small town, because there's nothing to do, you can't just even go sit on the steps of, Union Square and just people watch, which is innocent enough, but at least it's still fun and you're out without your parents.
Right.
There's nothing to do in a small town except for go to whoever's parents in the Caribbean away for the weekend, and somebody someone gets a keg, everyone gets as drunk as possible, people are getting alcohol poisoning, and the police come, and then everyone jumps into the cars and drinks and drives and tries to get away without getting arrested. Honestly, I feel grateful that we survived growing up in the suburbs. And now in the suburbs, I was talking to a woman the other day. Now in the suburbs, apparently heroin and meth, whatever it's called, are such a giant problem. And at least in the city, at least number one, they're not driving. They can take taxis no matter what. And number two, I know that my kids will never, ever be doing like heroin because they've been stepping over heroin addicts passed out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's a good
disgusting, lying in their own filth for years since they're a baby. They've seen what can happen. That it's not just a chic thing.
Right.
They've seen only the unchic part. It may start off chic, and they've never seen the chic part, and they're not going ever. They're not going. I used to be in the modeling industry, and to tell you the truth, I never even saw heroin. I've never seen heroin in my life, ever.
The thing is, there's so much going on in this city. There's so much to do. Who wants to do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There's so much to do.
Well, then forget the suburbs. The only thing the suburbs has going for it is that it's just cheaper. That's it. But as far as safety,
Are you guys done with the magazine?
Yeah, go right ahead.
okay. So my point is that same way that I was able to create without the kids understanding that this was
That's
anything
a useful
other
thing
than
that drama could be doing.
exactly
Is what you're saying,
that
right?
this could be gleaning information about what's going on, where to find it, what happens in school, what teachers are effective, what teachers if I was a drama coach and I said here's the assignment, okay, you think about, I want you to divide your class. You guys are all in the same class. Divide yourself into two groups, and I want you to act out your best teacher. You could change the subject to hide identities if you want to, but best teacher doing a lesson. And someone's confused and asks a question.
Wait, remember that camping trip where someone asked you to I remember that now. I remember who it was. They didn't ask their own mother to participate.
Yeah.
Remember that? I just remembered that now.
I know
That was unbelievable.
I know. That's happened a couple of times. What I'm telling
Just
you,
came to me now.
What I'm telling you, that the kids have always come to me. In fact, the two times, the first, I think the time you're thinking of is during the Indian feather dance, and that I felt bad for the parent.
Me too.
My heart, I was embarrassed for the parent. But that I felt badly about. The second time it happened, I didn't even know that the kids were allowed to request what bunk or tent or whatever they wanted to be in. But I remember being in Hell's Kitchen Park after school one day, and the kids telling me that they'd requested woozy wutsy blah blah blah, and then some other kid running up to me and saying, I guess it was after they found out their assignments. Really funny. Oh my gosh, Andy, I'm so upset. I asked for you. I wanted to be in your bunk, but it turns out that I can't be in your bunk because my mom is going, so I have to be in her bunk. I was like, oh my gosh. At least the mom was.
At least the mom wasn't right there.
Yeah, exactly. But I was like.
All right, now whenever you're ready, I'm going to ask you like 5 questions in a row.
Shoot.
Just get your
Ready, I got my ding ding ding, go ahead.
yeah, like your soundbite response. Okay. What did you think of the arts integration in 4th and 5th, where the theater projects were more integrated into the subject they were studying? For instance, the Pilgrims or the Salem witch trials, that kind of thing.
I thought they were good add-on. They certainly enhanced it and made it more fun. They probably learned a heck of a lot already through all of the other materials that they used. They saw a million movies on the Salem witch trials. We went on 1,000 field trips to Indian museums and saw them. We set a fire. We made our own fire using their fire starting devices from the Indian tribes.
That's right.
So it probably wasn't necessary to learn more. We probably could have used more classroom time and actually studied perhaps for the new state tests that were being developed that year. So that's my feeling on it then, especially since I'm the one who sewed all those fucking costumes. Oh, you might want to beep costumes. But it was...
What do your children... I'm sorry.
It was a fun thing for the parents. I think the kids would have been better served at that point with the new Common Core coming in and the new state test meeting so much, and those years being so imperative that probably should not have been done.
What impact do you feel that the first grade's theater study had on your kids?
No. The kids actually do not remember anything about that theater study, about meeting all of the famous stars that they met. They don't remember the theaters that they went to. They don't. When I asked them if they remember the Nederlander Theater, if the name rang a bell to them, nothing. None of it resonates. They've forgotten who Stephen Sondheim is. The only thing that they remember about that whole experience, which took months and months and months, was the actual play itself and the funny things that their friends did during the play. End of story.
If you ask them now, they don't remember.
This was a question that we had. We discussed this no more than a week and a half ago. They literally only remember the funny things about specifically that pertain to their friends.
What impact do you think the family visit in kindergarten made on your children?
I think the family visit was more worthwhile, truly. I think the family visit may have been a better thing to do at a later stage, but I think that seeing how other people lived, and I think it was excellent, but I think it would have been better served, for example, if we were going to spend that much time doing that and learning about the way that other families live. It would have been better to do that perhaps in the later grades, like maybe when they were in 5th grade and going on to middle school, and they already had some idea of what wealth versus poverty was, because at 5 or 6 years old, they have no idea what is wealthy, what is not wealthy. The kids, a lot of times, they would come home from the poorest houses that they saw, struggling families, and they thought those were the coolest visits because maybe the people had a goldfish. But they didn't take what they should have taken from that study. I got an enormous amount. I went to almost every one of those homes I got an enormous amount of that study because not most New Yorkers don't invite you to their homes.